Hi, this is Adrienne Usher, here to talk to you a little bit about Greensheets and hopefully simplify the process a little bit for you and clarify some of the questions you might have. A lot of people seem to be intimidated by Greensheets, but it's nothing to be intimidated about. I like to think of Greensheets as the invoice that you give us as an office that explains how you want your commission check to be paid to you. So it's very important that you understand how Greensheets work, how to create them, the evolution of a green sheet, what happens after you submit it, some problems that you might encounter, things that might confuse you, so some common green sheet issues, and then what happens next, what happens after that green sheet is submitted. So those are some things we'll cover in the course today, and I hope this clarifies some of your questions that you might have and just help walk you through the process of creating a green sheet. Of course, the staff is always available to you, but I think this will be a great tutorial on how to get started. So let's dive in. There are a couple of ways to get to a green sheet, to your green sheet dashboard, which is what you see here. The first way is to go to your MyKW page and click Technology. You'll drop down about 5 items and then you'll see Green Sheet. This will bring you to your Green Sheet dashboard, in which you can click Create a Green Sheet and begin the process. The second way that you can get to this same dashboard is through .loop. Once you've created your loop on your file and gone to that View Details section that's right under your loop name, down at the very bottom, after you've completed most of that information, down at the very bottom there is a Submit to Green Sheet button. And if you click that Submit to Green Sheet, it will launch you into this exact place, to your Green Sheet dashboard. So that is another way that you can get here. And a third way is through your KWLS system. So if you're on your KWLS dashboard and you're looking at one of your listings, you can also submit that information to a green sheet, which will all bring you to this dashboard. So once you're here, you create a green sheet. It will ask you a couple of questions. Are you the listing agent? You answer yes or no. And then, is this a KW listing? The real question for this the real question behind this question is this listing in KWLS? So if another Keller Williams agent has this listing, you would answer yes here, and then it will bring you to the KWLS page where you can search for that listing by the MLS number. And once you find that, it will import certain information about that listing into your green sheet, save you a little bit of time. So that's important there. Once you have your green sheet in action, you will come to this page, which is the General Information tab. I'm going to go tab by tab through this, so we'll talk about the General Information tab, and then we'll talk price, commission, buyer, seller, agent detail, etc. We'll just go through the green sheet step by step to address the main facets of each page. On the General Information tab, you'll enter information such as the contract date, the close date, transaction type, that kind of thing. You'll notice some of these boxes are pink and outlined in red. That indicates that that field is required and you cannot submit your green sheet without completing that field. So you would enter your dates. And then on contract type, I always like to bring attention to these because there are 3 options here. The first is buyer sale. This means you've brought a buyer to another agent's listing who is outside of our market center. So even if it is another Keller Williams office, if it is outside of our market center, then this would be a buyer sale green sheet. The second type is a listing sold. This is when another agent outside of our market center brings a buyer to your listing. So you're the listing agent and someone else sells your listing. The third type is a both listing and sale. This is when our market center handles both sides of the sale. So either you have both sides of the deal, or you plus another agent in our office have each side of the deal. It's important that you choose the correct transaction type, because moving forward in your green sheet, it'll open the correct commission fields for you to report that correctly. The second tab is the price commission tab. This is where you enter the sale price of the home and you outline the commission structure for the deal. Here you will enter the actual sales price of the home, not the commissionable price. So for example purposes in this course, we will use the sale price of $305,000. So suppose you've sold a home for $305,000. That is the actual sales price. You would enter that amount here, and then depending on if this is a gross commission deal or a net commission deal, it would depend on what step we take next. So let's suppose it's a gross deal, and that is indicated on the MLS sheet that's set up in the original documents from the seller. So that's determined there. So if it is a gross commission deal, then you would use the percentage button to determine how to calculate your commission. So you would click this little percentage button underneath, and then you would enter your 3% commission here. So you put a 3 in that field, and it would automatically populate with a dollar figure there. Now, this is a generic green sheet, and it has both listing and sale here. For yours, depending on what you choose in the first tab that I just explained, the appropriate field will open up. So if you're the listing agent and this is a listing sold, then you would only see this listing commission here, or vice versa. So let's suppose this is a net deal. The same $305,000 home is set up as a net commission structure, and there are $5,000 closing costs. So here you would put in $305,000. You would click this flat button, and then these percentage fields will go away, and you will only have one field open to enter a dollar figure. So if you're getting 3% of $300,000, then you would put in that $9,000 commission amount, and that is how your commission is set up. Now, if you have a flat fee, you'll enter that later. So for this purpose, it is just your base commission amount. Additionally, suppose you take some sort of a concession on this deal, or this is a repeat client and you're giving them a discount, or you had to take care of an expense on their behalf to make this deal go through. We never recommend that you discount your commissions, but if that happens, and we know that it does at some point, then you would just always click this flat button in that case, and then just put in a dollar figure. You manually calculate your commission and put in the dollar figure there, and just disregard the percentage field. Next is the buyer tab. Here you enter the buyer's name as indicated on the contract. So you would just enter the buyer's name, and then their phone number is important here also, because we share the contacts of our buyers with Michael Heasty at Insurance Partner. We have an affiliated relationship with them, and so they receive all information for all of our buyers in order that they might market a specially negotiated rate for clients of our office. So they will be looking for insurance at some point, and so we are offering them that specially negotiated rate. And Michael Heasty at Insurance Partner, you might know him from the guy that comes into team meetings, usually sits in the back of the room, and he often brings a check with him and says that he's going to share that with the office. And that check is his profit share off of his business going directly into our profit share system, which we then distribute to our agents who are receiving a piece of that. So just wanted to let you know the importance of that. If you can share that phone information on your buyer, that's great. Obviously, if they don't want that information shared, then you would respect that. So that is how that information is used. The seller tab, the only required field there is the seller name, and we just use this portion of the green sheet for reporting purposes. The next tab is the agent detail page, and this one is a little intimidating to some, but I want to try to diffuse that and explain it the best way I can. Remember, this green sheet is your invoice to the company, so it's important that you understand all of the pieces that make this all come together to equal your commission check. The person who began the green sheet will appear in Agent A in that column. The next 3 items that you'll select relate to your role as an agent. If this is a listing, then you want to select things that apply to the listing side. Listing specialist. The type would be a listing. The agency would be seller. If it's a buyer, then you would select the buyer specialist or sale or a buyer agency. But you might say, well, I'm a transaction broker. Well, this is not an auditable document. The main goal in those three questions is, will it open the correct unit for me? So I want it to trigger that listing unit and that sales unit, whichever applies to that side of the deal. Now, if you're sharing this green sheet or this commission with another agent within our office, you would select the little magnifying lens in Agent B and search for their name and then add them on your green sheet. Or suppose you have both sides of this deal, then you would appear in two columns. One column that shows the listing side of your commission and the second column that shows the buy side of your commission. So once the units are activated, that will trigger your gross commission. That will be pulled down from what you entered in that first tab back on the price commission tab in the beginning. The outside referral percentage and outside referral that's highlighted in yellow we'll skip for now because I'd like to come back to that in a minute. MC approved concession to buyer or seller is marked out because you will not use this field. Should you choose to give a concession to your client, you would want to take that off of the commission amount in the beginning. This gross commission amount that's shown here is the amount that is used to calculate your company dollar that you pay to the office and your royalty that you pay to KWRI. So if you take a concession, we don't want you to take an additional hit to that number. So you've worked hard for this commission and we want you to have as much of it as you can. So should you choose to use that to exercise your right to give a concession to your client, you would definitely want to take it off the top rather than using that field. Bonus admin fee field is where you'd place your flat fee. Should you have a $3.95 fee or whatever that might be, you would want to place that there. Percent agent commission split is where you would put your split with the market center. So if you're on a 70-30 split, then you would put a 70% there, and that's how that would work. Agent royalty, you just need to click whether you are capped on royalty, yes or no, and that is listed there as well. So I also want to let you know that our transaction management system catches all of that information. So if you are capped, but you might have clicked no, you're not, then we will not over collect on company dollar or royalty for you. Likewise, if you click that you are capped, but your anniversary date has reset, then we would go ahead and your deal would be subject to those fees. Likewise, we've taken out inside referral as well, because if you have another person that is in our office on the deal and you're paying them a referral, you would want to put them in column B by searching for their name here, and then they would be subject to their own company dollar and royalty percentages rather than you. On outside referrals here, should you pay a relocation company, or maybe another agent has sent you a referral to this client, so you owe them a referral percentage, you would enter their information either in the percentage or the dollar field, the dollar field there. And once you do that, you'll get a warning that pops up that says to remember to place the outside referral information below. That is triggered here at the bottom of your agent detail section. So you would enter the broker company name. The paid by agent is where a drop-down menu will pop up and it'll have A, B, C. So whichever agent is paying that outside referral, you would select the appropriate agent based on what column they're in on the green sheet. You would add that dollar amount, tax ID number, address. All of this is important. If you're paying an agent a referral fee, for example, choose one of the fields below, like the fax or the email, to enter their name. So if your fellow agent out in Colorado sent you a referral, you would definitely want to put their name there so that we could indicate who receives that, so that when that brokerage receives it, they would know which agent to pay. So I'll pause here. We've talked for almost 15 minutes. I'll pause here and then we'll do part 2 in just a moment. But I really appreciate your time and hope that what I've said has helped you kind of understand walking through this. So we will continue moving through the tabs, so stay tuned.